Hello, everyone. I am excited today to talk about essential oils that every parent should know, and also for you to know how to use them to their full potential, because there is so much information online, a lot of wrong information, some right, but it's hard to decipher what's what. So I am Veronique Gallagher, and I have been teaching about essential oils for 11 years. I have four children, so there's also some hands-on experience here. And I'm going to be sharing tonight some really practical tips to help you understand the full potential of essential oils, how to use them effectively and safely on children. But first, what are essential oils? They are plant compounds that are extracted from different parts of the plant, sometimes the leaf, sometimes the bark, the flower, the resin. And in the case of citrus oils, they are extracted from the rind of the fruit. And they are very volatile and very tiny in molecular structure. So they are absorbed very easily. When you breathe them in, it goes and interacts with that part of their brain that controls mood and emotion very quickly. These natural aromatic compounds have so many beneficial benefits, medicinal benefits for us. And they are very, very concentrated as well. So that's important to know. When you look at the size of the bottle, you're probably wondering, what can this actually do? Well, one drop of this, in the case of peppermint, is like 28 cups of peppermint tea in terms of concentration of the medicinal compounds. So you don't need a lot. And in the case of children, even less. But which oils? Not all oils are created equal. I actually talked to someone today that her husband had grown up with essential oils and he was not really familiar with any kind of brand. He lived in the UK and he was trying to convince his wife here in Canada to use essential oils, and he had bought some at the health food store, had bought some at the pharmacy, and she had never gotten any results with the oils. Well, she went to a doTERRA workshop and she tried the peppermint, and she felt instantly her airways open up and she felt her headache going away as she put it on her temples. She experienced the true power of essential oil. So see, this is the problem with a lot of oils on the market. So many of them are adulterated. They are synthetic, partly or fully, sadly. And a lot of them are, even though they're labeled essential oils, they are fragrances. They are synthetic. So they're not going to have the medicinal benefits that I am going to talk about tonight. So you really want to trust a brand like doTERRA that fully stands behind their therapeutic benefits and stands behind their purity. A lot of oils on the market are not really tested for their therapeutic benefits. They're tested for their scent, because that's the reason a lot of people use them. Well, it could smell, lavender could smell incredible and yet be void of therapeutic benefits. So this is what we don't want. We don't want to use fragrance oils. We want to use medicinal oils. So when you're looking at an essential oil brand, and I'm going to tell you right now, 80% of on the market, 80% of the oils on the market are synthetic, and that is from an independent lab. I'm sorry. Um, so this is not from me. You can find this information online. And so many companies don't do proper testing. You can test in a bunch of different ways for an oil, but you can see where different compounds are at. You can see the quantity of them, but very few are able to do tests to show whether a compound is natural or synthetic. And that is going to affect the therapeutic value of the oil. Because many companies do not source the oils themselves, they don't know what they're getting from the wholesaler. So that's why doTERRA is very, very dedicated to sourcing the oils, going through sourcing partners that they are very, very well connected with, small scale farmers, and they got rid of the whole middleman. that is in the essential oil industry is pretty prevalent, to make sure that the oils not only will be therapeutic, but also are ethically and sustainably harvested. And we know exactly where they come from. So we're not going to have an oil that is sold to us as a Melissa oil, but it's a lemongrass, because their scent is very similar. So we want to make sure that we use the best therapeutic oils possible when especially we are using them on our children, right? So what are 3 ways to use essential oils? Aromatic is definitely a big one. And with kids, I would say that's definitely a top one, as well as topical. So those are the main 2 ways that you will use essential oils with kids. Internal will be a little bit more rare with children. However, there are some instances where you might want to do that, and I'm going to explain why. And this is one that you do not want to do with fragrance oil, okay? You do not want to take internally any, it's essentially a perfume. So only pure plant compounds, and then not all of the oils, not all of the plants are safe to ingest. So we're going to go through that as well. So are essential oils safe for children? Well, just to go back to what I just said, not just any oils. Don't use fragrance oils topically on your children. And as for me, I would not even diffuse them either, because fragrances are full of toxic chemicals, phthalates, and so many others that are endocrine disruptors. Fragrances, stay away from. You want pure plant compounds. When it's the pure plant compounds, they are safe and effective to use. People have been using them for thousands of years. You want to make sure they're 100% natural, and then use them safely. I'm going to show you how, and then you have peace of mind. So one of the ways to use essential oils with kids that you can feel really good about is to use them diluted. So pre-diluted, this whole kit here is pre-diluted of lots of the top oils that we use in our family. And they're ready to use topically with kids. The only thing with these is that you can't diffuse them because they are pre-mixed with fractionated coconut oil. So if you want oils to diffuse, you need the other kind of bottles that I'll show you. But these are really, really handy because they are ready to go. They're already diluted, ready to use on children. So for example, you have the Easy Air Touch here. That is the blend that is for respiratory issues. So if you have a child that is coughing or just needs better, the airways opened up, let's say a little bit stuffy at bedtime, or maybe has asthma, maybe something more chronic. So Easy Air will be super helpful that way. Deep Blue is for pain and inflammation. So that's super helpful if you have a very active child, but also helpful for growing pains. Zengest, it's definitely one that's used a lot with children that have tummy aches. So this is our digestive blend. And you use that directly on the tummy and under the feet as well. Under the feet, you'll see that use a lot, because the feet are not a sensitive area. So with children, oftentimes their skin are a lot more sensitive than adults. It's not as rough, not as robust. It's thinner and more fragile, especially the younger you go. So you want to use a place on the body that is not going to be reacting if it's a hot oil, especially. So in Zengest, there's peppermints. It feels cold. So under the feet can be helpful. Frankincense Touch, that's one of those that it doesn't matter where you use it on the body, is super gentle. And frankincense is like a little bit like lavender. I would say they're both oils that we say there's like Swiss Army knife, because they have so many different therapeutic benefits. Frankincense is great for the skin. So if a child has any scar or anything that you want to treat skin-wise, you would use frankincense. If they have ear aches, that's one of the ones that I rotate with tea tree and lavender under or around the ear. Oh my goodness, frankincense is good for immunity, for the nervous system. My son had night terrors for a long time, and finally I decided to try frankincense and copaiba on his neck here at the back of his head, and it really helped because it helps calm the nervous system. Lavender also is super calming, and we've used it for bug bites because it helps calm down itchiness. So that would be also good if a child has hives. It's good after a burn. It's good to calm emotions. It's very, very, very relaxing. So lavender, super versatile as well. Tea tree is your antifungal, antiviral friend. So this is one that we use for immunity, but also sometimes for suspicious things that show up on the skin with kids. Molluscum was one that I was able to use tea tree with, and sometimes like around their toes, on their feet, just to keep things nice, clear and healthy. Especially, let's say you go to the pool a lot, if you roll some tea tree or melaleuca here on the picture on their feet after the pool, that will help prevent some stuff. Around their ears, if there's some ear infections. Speaking of infections, On Guard is the immunity blend. So immunity boosting blend, so that will be to support their immune system. I like to use it daily on my kids, especially in the winter, to help their immune system just always be nice and stimulated and ready to go, ready to attack. But when they're fighting something, that's when you want to use a little bit more. And I would say even every hour. So it depends on the severity. And when someone is super new with essential oils, I always help walk you through when something comes up. Okay, so this is how you use them. And then you start really remembering, okay, this is what we do. When a child comes down with something severe and there's a fever, oregano, tea tree, On Guard, frankincense every hour on the feet and on the spine. And I am telling you, that has saved us many, 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 many times from things getting worse, because these oils have antiviral and antibacterial properties, all four that I just named. And when you use them right away, even before a fever shows up, is even better. Right away, when there's symptoms of just things being off, what it does is that it interacts with the viral replication that happens when we come in contact with a virus and our immune system is down. So the oils will help kind of stop that process that make it so the virus gets to critical mass in the body. And it will help slow down, at least, and if not stop, the viral replication process. And that's why I say every hour, because it's like you're constantly on it. And that will be for a day or two, and that's it. So when you act quickly with the oils, it is a beautiful thing to stop things in their tracks. It's very empowering. Oregano, as well as On Guard, you can also use that on warts. There's so many different uses, as well as supporting the immune system, like I just talked about. And then the peppermint is really good as well on the tummy if there's any bloating. It's good for headaches right here on the temples. It's good for lowering body temperature if that's needed. So many, many uses for this. And then there's the kids collection. So you have here blends like Stronger, Brave, Thinker, Steady, Rescuer, Calmer, and Tamer. And these oils are specifically formulated for kids to use on themselves. So they're going to have similar benefits to these ones here, but they're going to be oils that we're not going to have hot oils like cinnamon and clove or oregano that could cause some skin irritation if you use it too much, if you put too much of it. So they're really made for kids to use on themselves, and then there's no worries. And that can be really empowering for children as well. So Stronger is the immunity one. Tamer is we call it the belly blend. Thinker is for focus. So those are oils that they can even have in their backpacks and use at school. Rescuer is a great one for growing pains. And then Steady, Calmer, and Brave are the ones that help with more of the emotional aspects of things. And they can just have that on their night tables and use them as needed when they feel like they need a little bit of support. My daughter always gravitated towards Calmer, and that helped her, not just at bedtime, but when she needed to, like she felt like she was overwhelmed. And that's been her blend. So they're milder scents and made for kids to use on themselves. Um, it really is made for them. And that's a kit that you can also use on little ones, very, very little ones, because they're diluted, they're absolutely safe for newborn to I would say any kids can use this. You can use this up you can use this as an adult, but they're formulated for little kids. You can also use emotional aromatherapy oils that are rollers that are diluted here. You have the cheer, console, forgive, motivate, passion, and peace. I find more of my teenagers gravitate towards these, but I thought I would put them there just so you know that they are there. Okay, so let's see here if there are things that I have not mentioned. So, because when we talk about the properties of each oils, it's hard to fit in all of the things that they can be used for. But this is just to give you an idea. Obviously, I can't fit everything on here because when I say something like helping support your immune system, you're probably not thinking a tooth abscess, right? But a tooth abscess is an infection, and it's the body, the immune system in the body that is fighting off this pathogen, this bacteria that's trying to grow and cause trouble. Well, I've sadly have let a cavity go too long with my first daughter, so that's years ago, and she had an abscess. Well, we went for an extraction, and the dentist said, well, that infection needs to be taken care of first. So he sent us home with antibiotics. Well, I did not tell him how I felt about antibiotics. But at that time, I had seen On Guard do quite a few things that I was impressed with. So I thought, I'm going to give it a day. And I put On Guard on my finger and rubbed it on her abscess a few times that day. Well, by the time the next day came, it was almost gone. So this is the kind of stuff that I like. This is what I mean when I say they are like a Swiss Army knife. There are things that are good that are going to come up, like, okay, ringworm. Would you say, oh, let's use an essential oil for that? Probably not if you have not, if you're totally new to this, but there is an oil for that as well. And I have seen it with my own eyes absolutely go away without any medical intervention. So there are so many things that these oils can do for you and your family, but the amount of hours and heartache that I got to totally miss out on, thankfully, because of these oils is what is really hard to communicate. But all of these things that I could have had to go to the clinic and ask for a prescription or, wait out colds and flus, like so many things, you guys. um, Even tick prevention. We've never seen a tick in our whole life, and my kids constantly roll in the leaves. Sleep issues we don't have. We have these amazing oils that help support our sleep. Anxiety. My daughter had these panic attacks when she was 10 years old. We didn't know what it was. She went to the hospital 3 times because we thought it was some kind of allergic reaction when it would happen, because it was very, very strange. And at one point, the doctor at Sick Kids said, I think it's anxiety. And I thought, oh, okay. I was very new to the oils at the time. So I said, well, if it's anxiety, lavender is going to work. So I put lavender in my hand. And the next time that it happened, I put right over her mouth. And within 10 seconds, her breathing was normal. And I was like, what? That's it? That's all I have to do? Everybody needs to know about these. Do you know how many moms could use this for their kids that are struggling with anxiety. How powerful is that? Same thing with ear infections. My son had a lot of ear pains every time he had a cold when he was little. When we got introduced to essential oils, he was already a little bit older, but every time it would happen after that, I'd be like, okay, I'm going to put tea tree and lavender and frankincense around and support his immune system with the immunity oils that I would put under his feet. Lo and behold, it would go away within a day or two. Amazing, right? So you get what I'm saying here. This is why I constantly tell people you need these for your kids. Okay, so how about we go through a little bit of safety tips? So um, never put in eyes. That goes without saying, but you never know. In ears. So the way that we deal with ear pain is not by putting the oil in the ear. It really is around. So right on the bone here, all around. And sometimes just rubbing the inside of the lobe here, but never dropping the actual oil inside the ear. Same thing with the nose and other sensitive areas. So always dilute properly. There's not really a hard, fast rule for dilution if you're diluting it yourself. All of the stuff I've showed you is pre-diluted. So that is the easy way to go. Also avoiding sun exposure after using citrus oils on the skin because citrus oils are photosensitive, so that can affect the discoloration of the skin if you go in the sun for a long time after that. But typically, we don't technically use citrus oils on the skin. It's not very common. One thing though to not forget is a lot of us use essential oils in our water, and that is something that I have done for my children for immunity. So adding a drop of lemon oil in the water, sometimes On Guard if they're struggling with a sore throat. Now they're a little bit older, so I would say 6+. 1 drop of On Guard in their water and then gargle with it. It's going to feel hot. It's going to go kill things. And that's what we want. Not every kid can handle it, but that's something that's really helped us, but never in plastic, always in glass or in metal. And that is super important for kids and adults. So they always say keep oils out of reach of children. I mean, if you have a toddler that has a tendency of opening everything and would maybe putting it all in their mouth, then yes, would put them out of reach. But for my kids, they've never really gravitated towards doing that at all. Maybe opening a roller and having fun with it, which is not an issue. So the only thing you wouldn't want is for them to drink an entire bottle of On Guard or an entire bottle of oregano, although I don't think they would get past 1 drop. But there's 2 oils that have a child safety cap on them. It's Deep Blue and Wintergreen because they contain a compound that is like aspirin. Well, actually, aspirin is comes from that plant, and that is really blood thinning. So you don't want your kid to think that it's candy and drink the bottle, right? So if you have very little kids, yes, keep them out of reach. Other than that, I would say keep the hot oils out of reach. So oregano, cinnamon, On Guard, clove, the ones that would feel hot putting on the skin. And yes, there's child-proof caps, but really, if you close them properly, any kid would struggle a little bit opening them. So avoiding sensitive areas, well, I already mentioned that. Avoiding broken or damaged skin. It depends on the oils. So you wouldn't want my husband when he learned about On Guard and its powerful antibacterial, antifungal, anti-everything properties. whenever there would be an infection, let's say, or we would want to prevent an infection of a cut. He'd be like, oh, just put On Guard on it. Like, no, don't put On Guard on it. It's gonna burn. It doesn't actually burn. It just feels really awful, and it will turn red because the oils in On Guard are very caustic to the skin. So that's why you see it rolled under feet here. But for broken or damaged skin, you would want to use gentle oils like lavender and helichrysum and frankincense. So helichrysum actually is the helichrysum roller I highly recommend because it's like liquid stitches. I had to use it on myself on my foot because I cut my foot really bad this summer. But I applied the helichrysum a few times and I thought I needed stitches, but it ended up healing really well. So helichrysum roller, super helpful to help heal these kind of wounds. So yes, be careful with broken and damaged skin. Definitely dilute, but just use the gentle oils. Okay, so lots of people ask about doses and dilution ratios, and I don't like to give this as a hard fast rule because this is a lot less oil than I have ever used with my kids. But it's a very conservative chart. So see here, it says dermal. So on the skin, 1 to 2 drops at a time for a kid, but 3 to 12 drops per day. That's very, very conservative. If there's things sometimes that you just need to take care of, especially if your child is sick, it's going to be more than that. It's just on a regular basis. Okay, so if it's something that daily, that would be good. So internal here, never, let's say, for more than 12 drops a day internal for a child, and that is because the liver is going to process these compounds and it's just going to be too much to deal with for a child to deal with that. Photosensitive oils, already mentioned that. And then two other things that I want to mention, actually there's 3, vitamins, omegas, and probiotics. There are 3 things that are a little bit extra that when it comes to taking care of our health, when we want to be more proactive, that I highly recommend. The first one is the multivitamin. There's a lot of, I mean, this is not the Flintstones, okay? There's a lot of synthetic vitamins out there that are chewable, and people think, well, as long as my kid takes it, I don't care. But the thing is, you're very likely to just be paying for expensive urine because it is not absorbed. Synthetic vitamins are not absorbed very well at all, if anything. And then it's useless to take. So you want something that is going to be food-based, like this one, that don't contain also all the colors and corn syrup and all of the things that we try to avoid. We don't want that in there. So this one tastes like strawberries, and it's great, really easy for kids to take. Same thing with this one. So some people shy away from omega-3s, but I am telling you, they make a huge difference with brain health, especially also immunity. But if your kid has trouble focusing, if your kid has had any diagnosis on the spectrum, you need to give them omega-3s. Every kid needs omega-3s, but especially if there's any trouble focusing at all, the brain needs this to calm inflammation and to function better. There's a lot of omegas out there, and a lot of them don't have in them what it takes to keep it from going rancid. So they did this study, I believe it was, they said it was about 60% of omega-3s on the shelves are already rancid because it's just not shelf stable unless what doTERRA found is they put wild orange in it, Wild orange is an essential oil that is highly antioxidant, so that helps preserve the fish oil and make it so it doesn't go rancid. And that also makes it taste yummy and does not taste like fish. Did you know that if it tastes like fish, it means your omega-3s has gone rancid? It's not supposed to. So it's just clear. It tastes like just oil with an orange taste, and they're chewable. So any age can take these. My kids love them. And the third one is the probiotics. That's another one that's really easy for kids to take because it's a powder and it tastes like a pixie stick. Thanks to xylitol, which is a safe sugar alternative. And the probiotic is going to help with everything. As you probably know, gut health is pretty much the control center of our body functions, our mood, our immunity, our digestion, obviously, and even our skin health. It starts in the gut. So this delivers a lot of live good probiotics into our gut. Adults and kids alike like this probiotic. It's microencapsulated, so it gets to the gut. It does not get destroyed by the stomach acid. So that is key. So some other ways that you can add essential oils into your kids' lives is adding, let's say, a drop of wild orange in a smoothie, or adding it into baking, making peppermint brownies, adding oils in yogurt as well, or applesauce. We like to use cinnamon in applesauce. It tastes so good, and at the same time, it's a nice immune boost, and it helps regulate blood sugar. You can use it in crafts, Christmas ornaments, aromatherapy beads, soap. There's also aromatherapy Play-Doh that's really fun to make. Soap, DIY custom roller balls. Kids love to make those. Just make their own blends. It's so fun. And then bath salts and bath bombs. So if you don't have any essential oils in your home yet, this is one of the great starter kits that we have. And that's the one that I started with. I love that kit. It has all of the oils that we mentioned. They're not in the roller format, but you can dilute yourself in these empty rollers that you can get with it. And so you can do the rollers for the things that you want to have on hand ready to go for your kids. And it comes with a diffuser. And then you have the Home Essentials kit, which is the same oils as we just saw, but 3 times the oil. So this is the bigger format. I would say if you have more than one child, this would be more ideal than the Healthy Start. It will last you a lot longer. And oh, I thought I had put another one. So if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me, to message me. I would be more than happy. I am sure that there's things that you are maybe wondering if you can do with essential oils for your kids and that I did not mention. So if that's you, send me an email, send me a message wherever you're seeing this on any platform. I'm more than happy to answer and help you get started. All right. Thanks for watching.